Hey everyone, this is Times Rhymes, and I'm here with Tyzer, and we're just going to do a little bit of I don't know how long, but a video where we talk about our expectations for the next gen systems. The PS4 at this moment is already out. It is the 18th where we both are. He's 7 hours ahead of me, but it's still the 18th. And the Xbox One is coming out on Friday. How excited are you, Tyzer?
Well, words can't describe it. It's gonna be, it's the first game launch, first console launch I've got in memory, so it's gonna be big.
I sort of to backtrack a little bit. I did a recording, and I still have the recording on my computer of like games or like because I've had both prior Xbox consoles, the Xbox. Well, I can't call it the Xbox One anymore, but the original Xbox and the 360 at launch. November 15th, 2001 was the first Xbox, and November 22nd, 2005 was the 360, and I had both of them at launch. Unfortunately, I personally won't be able to get the Xbox One at launch this year, but due to circumstances. But I'm telling you, man, I'm more excited now than I've ever been.
Yeah, it's sort of been building over the last few weeks. Beforehand, I was sort of not meh about it, but I was looking forward to it. But now it's really starting to set in this last sort of home stretch, if you like.
Indeed, indeed. Now, this is going to be sort of our next gen expectations video. So let's get let's get the system out of the way that we don't know the most about and that we're not necessarily the most familiar with, the PS4. We were talking before you started recording, and you are excited about or maybe some aspects about the PS4. Can you tell me about those?
Yeah, I'm just sort of intrigued to see how it's going to pan out because this console war, as people like to term it, has been more of a political battle rather than actually looking at features and stuff. And it would be nice just to see the smoke clear and that, and just see exactly who, not necessarily who was right, but how it's actually going to, you know, face up to facts. And everyone says, "Oh, this is going to be good. This is going to be better than the other." It's going to be nice to just see exactly how things settle in place. Because the way I see it, they're practically identical systems now, save for exclusives and things, just little preferencey bits like the online system, um, the controllers, that sort of thing. So I'm just curious to see how it's all going to set in place, how their exclusives are going to stack up to how people thought they would, and really how things like the PSI, the way I've been looking at it, things like Connect, I the way I see it, Connect is going to be better feature wise. But I just want to see exactly how much the PSI can do, even though it's not forcibly included with the PlayStation.
Right.
That's probably the biggest thing because Kinect has just made such a huge impact on how the Xbox One is going to work. Just navigation, gameplay, all that sort of thing. So I want to see how PSI factors into that specifically.
Well, I've seen I've seen the actually GameSpot was streaming it, the PlayStation 4 all last week, and it works decently, I would say. They have some voice functionality as well, just like PlayStation Play Battlefield 4 or something, and it'll go right into it. When it's tracking the player, it seems to do a fairly good job, but you have to have enough room, and
Ah,
I don't know about how the Connect 2.0 is going to work because we obviously don't have it in our hands.
mm,
But I'm excited as well. And to speak on your earlier point about like console wars and stuff, and just you just want to see how it works out. It's fairly interesting. Like last week or 2 weeks ago, Sony came out and mentioned Nintendo by name and said that they want to see Nintendo succeed.
mm.
And then Microsoft just last Friday mentioned Sony by name, and said, "Congratulations on your launch, Sony." And Microsoft executives and people in Microsoft side, Phil Spencer, Major Nelson, sent tweets over to Sony guys saying, "Congratulations on the PS4." So when it comes down to it, this console wars is totally conscripted by the fans. I personally think that obviously they're in it for the money. Both of the companies are, or they wouldn't be making the consoles. But and we've discussed that before, but I think most of this is just conscripted by the fans. These guys are actually almost friends on the down low or on behind the scenes, if you will. And I don't get this whole console war stuff. Just buy your system. If the PS4, it does. From what I understand, it does render things out better, and right now it has better textures and stuff like that. But they're relatively the same, and it's minimal differences. So just buy what system you want, you know?
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that people say, everyone will cite. I don't know, say like you were saying just then, PS4 with their textures and things, whereas Xbox has more RAM being used on the actual games themselves, less on the OS, and Xbox's
Right.
RAM is more focused towards a particular type of graphics, like maybe the movement or something. I forget what it is, but the Xbox's RAM and other features are focused to improve other aspects, which the PS4 doesn't, and the PS4 vice versa. And people have just tended to focus on what the PS4 can do because of this stigma that, like you say, the consumers have created, when realistically they're all just trying to shift each other along and, you know, congratulate each other. On a little note about that tweet that Microsoft sent out, though, I just to put a bit of perspective on how everyone else saw it as well, a lot of people took it quite sarcastically, and I have to admit, I read it in quite a sarcastic tone. There was no exclamation mark at the end, so it was very much "Congratulations on your launch, Sony," rather than "Congratulations on your launch, Sony." So,
I thought that comma before Sony made it sarcastic, but when I went to Twitter and I saw that Phil Spencer and Major
yeah,
Nelson and these Microsoft guys did send tweets of their own over to Sony guys like Shuhei, you see, or is his name Shuhei? Yeah, I believe so. But I'm just gonna say Shuhei, and then but send over tweets to Sony guys and to the official PlayStation account. Um, I thought it was then genuine, you know. But I could see how from the image itself,
yeah,
it seems sort of sarcastic.
yeah,
But on my excitement for the PS4, we'll get to the Xbox One soon. I personally never owned a PlayStation before. I went from having an SNES when I was a little kid to a Nintendo 64, and then skipped straight to the Xbox, the original Xbox, and then 360. And I've played PlayStations at my friends' houses and stuff like that, but I never actually owned one, let alone at launch. So I'm just excited I am going to buy a PS4 maybe down the line if I can get a job soon. Because I did say adulthood hit me in the face. If I could get a job soon, a decent job at that, what I want to do is maybe buy it late December, early January, and I'm really just excited for their staple franchises. Like they have to have a new God of War game coming out for the PS4.
yeah.
I mean, God of War 3, when spoiler alert, when Kratos crawls off the cliff, and you don't see him crawl off the cliff, but you know he did because his body's not where he was stabbed. Um, there has to He's either alive or he killed himself in the water or something. I don't know,
Mm.
but there has to be another God of War game coming out for the PS4. And God of War, uh, what it was it, the prequel that just came out looked dang good on the PS3. And everybody's all into graphics, and that seems to be the main thing when it comes to the debate against Xbox One versus PS4. But that's gonna be what draws me, plus gameplay and plus story. And then obviously Uncharted, a new Uncharted was announced with the teaser trailer just on launch day last week on Friday. So there will be a new Uncharted for the PS4. I'm excited about that. Just their staple franchises and how do they innovate on a new
Yeah,
system, and yeah.
yeah. No, there's some stable franchises. Quite a stark difference to your situation, actually. I started off playing PlayStations. I went from a Nintendo 64 to a PS1, then the PS2, and then shifted over to 360. So I've much been a PlayStation kid. So things like the Ratchet and Clank series, that was a big one for me as a kid. But obviously, I haven't really been in touch with the more modern, probably more adult type staple franchises like Uncharted or God of War. Um, but they've obviously got some sort of investment in things like Ratchet and Clank still, because they announced a movie not
Right.
long ago. So it would be nice to see if they're actually going to try and bring any of that to next gen. And also, I highly doubt it'll ever happen, but something like a return to Jack and Daxter, that used to be one of my favourite games as a kid. So simple things like that, but that's what I associate PlayStation with, is sort of, like we were saying earlier, to me it feels almost patronising or family centred, I guess. And that's what I associate PlayStation with, is the sort of the games I played as a kid.
Right.
But things like that's what's driving my purchase at the moment for Xbox One. Halo, just the trailer enough. The trailer enough. The trailer alone was enough to get me excited. I mean, so much speculation. I've already got like 50 theories on what it could mean, and that's obviously one of the main ones that's pushing me. But things like Forza, I don't do that much racing, but it is something I do like to do once in a while.
It looks good.
And also Dead Rising. I was really excited about it, and then I sort of changed my mind. But recently, after reviews and things have been coming out, people have been saying, "Oh, it's fantastic." I'm kind of teetering back to probably getting it sometime soon. So that's really what I'm excited about, seeing these exclusives, getting that controller in my hands for the first time. Because a lot of the people I've been talking to have had goes things at PAX and that type of thing, and they can't praise it enough. So I'm really excited to just get that controller in my hand, try out how Kinect's going to factor into things, and really just get my hands on some of these games and see what difference it makes.
Yeah, but and before we move on to talking about Xbox One full time, are there any launch games for the PS4 that tickle your fancy at all?
Um, in terms of launch games, I haven't been so much in touch with them, but things like apparently Killzone, is Killzone the launch one?
Killzone Shadowfall, yeah.
Yeah, that's got a lot of critical acclaim behind it, so I'm really excited to see how that's panning out. I haven't actually had a chance to look at it yet, but I want to see how that turns out.
I'm t from the YouTube and Twitch gameplay I've seen, Killzone. It sucks because I think it runs at 60 frames per second sometimes, and then the frame rate drops sometimes
Ah,
while you're actually playing it. But when you're on Twitch or YouTube, the frame rate drops to 30 because that's pretty much the maximum on those websites, and it compresses the quality down. But even then, it looks beautiful. The environments are beautiful. The one thing I have against Killzone, and I don't know if it's prevalent in all the other Killzones as well, but in Killzone Shadowfall for the PS4, it seems like the AI just stands waiting to get killed most of the time
ah,
instead of moving and getting into cover, and that's sort of puts me off offsetting.
yeah,
And
that's a real experience killer.
but other than that, Killzone looks well for me. Knack seems fun at sometimes. I don't know, despite the poor scores it's gotten from a lot of critics. I think it looks fun sometimes, and I could see myself getting into that when I get my PS4. Um, Resogun looks fun. Oh, geez, I just don't know what else I could say about that. It's a simple game, but Resogun looks fun. Warframe is a
Ah,
free to play, so you can't complain on that.
no, not at all.
And what else? I'll probably get most of my multi-platform games on the Xbox One, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
I can't really talk about Assassin's Creed 4 or
Oh, Assassin's
um,
Creed 4 is a beautiful game on the 360. So
even on 360 and PS3. Assassin's Creed 4 looks great.
I
So
it's just it looks absolutely glorious on the
the
360. So I don't know
the,
how it is on next gen.
the only difference between next gen and 360 and or next gen and current gen is that on current gen, the players don't necessarily have as much. How would you say it? I don't want to say polys. Well, I guess polygons, but
Yeah.
th if they're in water, the water stays on their skin longer on next gen, so it looks more shiny. It looks better, and there's more of a draw distance. So instead of being covered by fog, you can see more in the distance, so you can place yourself better in the world and feel like you're immersed in the world on next gen. But other than that, it's pretty much the same game. You're not going to get that much of a difference visually or gameplay wise. So I'm excited about that. But you ready to move on to Xbox One?
Sure.
We've been talking about PS4 a little bit. You already said what you were excited with the Xbox One, pretty much. What else, man? What else?
Oh, it's just everything's just been building up to sort of these few days now. Everyone's really starting to get their teeth into, you know, bits and bobs been coming out. Things like when those Xboxes got sent out early by Target and details started emerging, downloads and that sort of thing. And everything just looks so great. The UI is just, I don't know how to describe it really, but everything just looks so fluid and really appeals to me. I mean, I install Windows 8 on my computer by choice, so this just really appeals to me in terms of looks, in terms of functionality.
Right.
Um, just hell, everything just looks so great. What I want to see really is how well Connect really will transfer into this, because like you said, I can't remember if you said it while we were recording or not, but how the PSI it doesn't it needs a particular size of room. It doesn't transfer so well in sort of smaller, tighter rooms, which is an issue with the original Connect. But like they said with Connect 2.0, that it's a widescreen 1080p camera, and basically it can adapt to any room size now, and it can even pick you up in the pitch black because of the laser pointingness.
Right.
So I really want to see how well these words actually transfer into reality, if you get me.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
it's all well and good them saying, "Oh yeah, this is great. This is going to do this, 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 and this." Here's a video we did ourselves in a demo room, which was perfectly set up for this. I just want to see how well it will transfer into real life situations.
Right. And when it comes to Connect, I'm excited about it. The thing that I really don't understand, and it's what a lot of gamers don't understand, is being forced to buy it. But that's not necessarily a detriment for me. I'll still get it, but I don't want to be forced to. But oh well.